there's kind of this worry that what if what I do or what if I say what I want does not fit with what they want or they say? And because of that fear or that sense of like, I need to prove myself, like I felt fortunate to have the job. I felt fortunate to have the opportunity. So then you're in a headspace of, well, there's no need for me to negotiate. I shouldn't be asking for more because I'm lucky to even be here in the first place. So why do I want more? Why do I want to raise the standard? Why do I want to get paid more? Why do I want to be given more notice when the timelines change? And why do I want to have a say in any of that when I don't get to have a say in that? And here's the thing is that you do get to have a say in that, and that you do get to negotiate, and you do get to be paid whatever you want to get paid. It's just a case of whether you choose for that to be your reality or whether you can be comfortable with being in that place of, I don't need it. Maybe I want it, but I'm not going to have it at the expense of what I believe is right for me. So I think part of it is going into these kinds of conversations knowing what you want. I think that's the biggest thing that a lot of people miss. They go in thinking about what the other person wants, thinking about how am I going to say this in a way that will please them. Whereas actually, I think before any of that even happens, before you even get on a call with them, I think you need to know what really matters to you, what you think is fair in the arrangement, how you want to be treated, how you want to be paid, how much time you want to be given to do the project, what you feel would be appropriate for you, what would make you feel good in the arrangement. Because if you go in and you're not clear on that, you can't do the negotiation anyway. Even if you had a really clear headspace around how to do it, you wouldn't be able to because you wouldn't know what you're even representing. So I think that's a big part of it. And then the money part, it sort of fits into that same type of mentality of I should be grateful to even have this opportunity. Therefore, I don't really feel like I ought to be asking for this much, or I don't quite know how to bring that into the conversation because I don't want to be an inconvenience and I want them to just want me for me and not have to deal with any of the money stuff. But like, it's an exchange of time and services and resources for them. So they fully expect that they're going to have to pay you. That's not in question unless there's some sort of discussion of voluntary work, which there shouldn't be anyway. So they know they're going to have to pay you, and they probably also don't really want to bring up that part of the conversation. So if you think about it, have any of you ever hired somebody, like even just to do something around the house or like a project at home? It's kind of awkward even on the other end to ask them what their rate is, because you don't want them to feel like you're just commoditizing them, or you don't quite know when or how to bring it up, or when's a good time for that. And then, should you negotiate because they're telling you that that's their rate, but like maybe you want to get a better deal or you want to get a discount or something. So I think part of having the money conversations confidently is knowing that there's probably some discomfort around that conversation on both sides, and you can't really fully eradicate that in most cases. Just normalizing that really helps. What I used to do is right after I would say my rate or my fee, I would just stop talking and just tell myself, this is the awkward part for both of us, but I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to see what they say. And so I wasn't expecting it to be comfortable. I was expecting it to be awkward, but I wasn't saying anything. I was just like, there it is. I put it out there. I'm going to wait. And that was quite an empowering thing. And I found that to be good because you can sort of read their body language. You can see like, is this uncomfortable for them? What are they like? Are they reacting? Is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? Like, how are they sitting with that? Because I've said what I need to say. Now the ball's in their court. So again, it goes back to knowing what you want before you come in, because you may have some preliminary information about the project, or you may have a good sense of how you want to be treated in the interaction, irrespective of what the project is or the details of that. So whatever you do know, you've got to be clear on that going in. There's the step before you meet them, which is knowing, okay, am I open to them having an onboarding process? Am I open to negotiating my rate? Am I open to being flexible with timelines? Do I want them to lean on me? Do I want them to give me X amount of notice? Do I want them to not contact me at weekends? What is it that you want? What do you really, really care about? And what are you flexible on? I think if you have maybe 2 or 3 things that you really, really care about that are very important to you, that affect your quality of life, that affect your energy, that affect your dedication to the project, that affect your enjoyment of the work, know what those are, but also know what is flexible. Have a list of them. I'm flexible on this, I'm flexible on that. So that when you go into the conversation, you start with these very high level questions. Do you have a budget? If they say, no, we're just looking for the right fit, or no, we were going to ask you what your rate is, or whatever, they're telling the truth. That's not a deal breaker for them, but if they say, yeah, we have a budget, it's this, then you can ask them, is there any room for negotiation, or is that a deal breaker for you? And they will tell you, no, this is the rate that we use for everybody. This is what works for us. There's plenty of other people we can call upon, whatever. You have to accept that as truth, as a fact. But there's going to be other things that they are willing to negotiate on. So you may be able to come to an agreement that feels good for both parties.